All right, I want to share with you guys some men I saw recently that I found really attractive and what made them attractive to me. And I think men will find this interesting. As a woman, I'm not just looking for a good body, I'm looking for energy. I'm actually, if I go right down to the basics of it, I I can tell within seconds if a guy has good physical health. To me, that is like so sexy. And so few people have that because good physical health requires you to exercise, get enough sleep, be in your heart, eat properly, have discipline, ambition, well being. Like, I can tell by the way a man walks, his physical and mental and emotional health. So, I can tell so much from how a person walks. And a person with a really happy, strong walk is so attractive, and I rarely see that. That's the lady in my book. I forgot. I call her Jenna in my book. She had that really good energy. She did CrossFit, and the people with really good energy work out because the energy that comes out through their body is very attractive to me, sexually, and I just notice it. So there were some guys at the gym the other day, and I like the guys with the boyish smile and the good energy versus the sluggish guys or the guys that are a little bit unkempt or they're not in very good shape. Um, the energy is everything to me. That is the number one thing. And I guess I notice it because I can feel it. It's so enlivening to me. And so few men have it because most guys are just too lazy to put in the work to have that good energy. So I went into Sprouts the other day and I saw this really tall, strong guy. Now, the fact that I do like guys at least 5'10", I'll be honest, but he was very strong and he was wearing like these camouflage pants and a blue shirt for this company he worked for, I guess, and he was walking very purposefully. His walk was purposeful and it was strong. He was taking long strides and it was purposeful, and I could see his body moving as he walked. He was going to the restroom, and I was so struck by just the seeing him like way off in the distance. I'm like, I'm going to walk in that direction and see if I can see him come back out or if what he's buying back there. So I went back there because I had to go to the dairy case anyway. And oh yeah, that's what happened. So I'm back there buying stuff, and then I'm kind of lingering around, seeing if he comes out. He comes out of the restroom and he walks out, and I'm like, "You looking really strong right there." And I just come back from the gym. He's like smiling at me. And then he goes over to another part of the store, and I'm just looking at him, and he's looking at me. And, he's probably in his mid 30s, and I'm 60. And, a part of me knows that he's not a guy I could marry or have kids with. I don't know what he's looking for. Does he think I'm just going to hook up? I don't hook up. I'm not going to be his MILF fuck girl or whatever. Would he want to date me? Or I don't know. I was just thinking, I don't even know what's possible. Well, then I go and pay, and he comes over in the line behind me with this other gentleman that he's working with, and they're in line behind me, and I'm just like a little kid in a candy store, like very innocent, but I'm just like looking at him, looking at his friend, looking at him. He had some tattoos. He had a nice beard, and he had some tattoos, and I'm just looking at him, and I was just so struck because, like I said, I around from his eyes, I could tell from the way he walked immediately. I could already tell. He felt safe, he felt kind, he felt in his purpose. He seemed like a guy that could like take care of a dog and take care of a woman and take me on a bike ride and invite me to coffee and care how I feel and protect me and provide me. Like, I felt all that just from his walk, seeing him from the back. And then when I saw his face, I was like, definitely, I could tell. Like, that's what I look for as a woman. As opposed to these guys on the trail today where they're walking towards me, and immediately I feel like this is a creep. Like, I get on the other side of the trail, not because I'm afraid, but I can just tell this guy's got like mental issues, or, and I live in the suburbs, like nice part of town, but I'm like, I just can feel if they're weird. Anyway, so then I'm just looking at him, and after my workout, like today I just went running, I'm always a little bit more have better, more outgoing energy. It wakes me up. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, it's so nice seeing men without masks on. Like, you guys are so great to look at. And I go, I hope I'm not being too forward. And they're like, no, no, you're not. And then as I walked off, the guy goes to his friend, yeah, I never thought of it like that. Like women like seeing us without our masks on. Now, I could have waited out there for him and seen if he wanted to talk to me, but I didn't. I just leave it up to chance. Like, if I see him there again at the Sprouts, maybe he'll say something or I'll say something. I don't try to make anything happen. I was just noticing, I was just happy to see him. I just got a lot of pleasure out of seeing a man like that. And I just figure if the gods want me to meet him again, I will, or someone like him. But the reason I'm making this video is for the men, because I want to explain, I'd love for the women to pitch in too. Like, within a glance at a man, I can tell you if I trust him. And again, I look for physical, mental, and emotional health in men to be attracted. Now, if you're sickly or you have issues or you're anxious or depressed, you can be a client. And I will give you love and affection as a client, but you'll have to pay me. But for me to feel attracted, I need you to be a top tier man. And the thing, when I hear a lot of guys say, I'll put the I hear so many men say, women don't notice me, women don't want me. Well, if you're wearing sloppy clothes and you don't have any muscle tone, this is why women don't like Asian men or Indian men. Even Asian and Indian women don't like their own race because they don't have any muscle tone. They don't understand that women are equally empowered, You guys are responsible. Any man, well, maybe not every man, because we are genetically, some of us are genetically just better than others, okay? Not everyone is going to be physically healthy. And if physical health is important, it is important to me. I look for that in guys, to feel attracted. Then not every man will qualify, okay? But I would say 75% of men, probably, could be like that guy. You might not be tall like him, but you can have good energy, a good walk, just by like making lifestyle changes. You can be attractive. And I can tell you that guy can get girls. He can get girls. He was not a fuckboy. He was not superficial. He had really kind eyes. Related to that, yesterday I came across some guys. I was watching YouTube videos where I could also tell they were married men. One was the husband of a woman who just died. She was a YouTuber who did like artsy things. And I got very curious about her. She was this beautiful, vivacious woman in her 30s with a husband and 2 children. And she died of like this rare kidney cancer. And I was curious about her husband, and he was like the most hottest guy. And the pictures I saw on Google search with him with his wife in the hospital, and then holding her later at the end, where she was just like a tiny shriveled of a person. She was like all bones, just curled up. He was holding her, and that was posted for her fans. He looked strong and purposeful, and the kindness in his eyes. I looked at his photo for like almost a minute. I just looked in his eyes just to absorb that kindness and that love and that strength and that power that he had. This man was just phenomenal. And it wasn't just his body. It was the man that he was, the life that he lived. How he cared for his wife and his kids, and the movies he made. I guess he's a director. And same with Helena Hutchins' husband. I saw him on an interview recently, and I was just struck by, he was not only freaking hot, very good looking man, but his strength that he exudes, his kindness. You know, like I would love to have a man like any of these three men I'm talking about. The kindness, the strength, the love, the calmness, you know, where I feel like this guy's good looking and he could be there for me. That's what I want to feel as a woman. Whereas I see these other guys in the manosphere that are just like empty suits, fuck boys, attention seekers. I don't want to name any names, but you know, they're superficial, like there's nobody home. Like some of these guys on the trail that come the other way, I feel like there's nobody home. There's nobody home, like undeveloped, you know. And that's what I'm talking about that makes a man attractive. It's how you're living in your animal body, what your life is about, what you care about, how you spend your time. It all shows up in your eyes, in your persona, how you carry yourself, how you talk, how you speak, how calm you are, how reactive you are. Like some of these guys leaving comments on my videos, you know, if they're reactive, I'm like, you're just creepy. I'm just creepy, disgusted. Like a reactive man, I'm just like, now you're just a fucking loser. Just get the fuck away. I'm so repulsed. And I know I shouldn't use those words, but I'm like, you're creepy, you're a loser. I feel like those men I'm talking about, they feel like strong and powerful. And those other guys feel like a little grain of sand. Like, I just want to flick, you know, I just flick them off. Flick, flick, flick. So it's, you know, and the interesting thing is the qualities that a man needs to be attractive to a woman make him more powerful in his life. And same way for us as women, the qualities that men look for make us more powerful, you know, like, I know men want us to be attractive. That means we also have to do this stuff. We have to exercise, you know, and I just went running. I have places I show my body. You guys know my other job, which is under a stage name. I have 2 jobs. I show my body there. I'm not going to show it here on YouTube because there are other parts of me. And I don't want to be, the places where I show my body, men have to pay to get access. And if I start showing my body on here, I'm going to get all these losers who think that I'm just a fuck girl, which I'm not. Okay, so here, less body. We have to be attractive, which means we have to exercise, we have to eat well, and we have to get enough sleep. We have to be nurturing and kind. We have to have something going on, be interesting, be intelligent, be sweet. Be sweet. Don't take our emotions out on guys. We're more emotional, but we can't go off on guys unless they're like losers. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I don't even want to deal with you. And then it's also nice if we can get back to some womanly things, I think, like sewing, cooking, crochet or needlework, something like that. If you're into it, calligraphy, some kind of things that, some gardening, something out in nature or something womanly. I think it's nice. Men like that, baking cookies or cooking. Yeah. And I think that those things are all good for us. I don't know. I just start knitting again because I'm like, I want to get more into my feminine sewing. And not just sewing, singing, playing an instrument, singing, and just being in your flow, getting people to support you. Like if you have a personal trainer or get a massage, that's being in your feminine energy. Anytime you're being supported, you're in your feminine energy. And every time you're teaching or leading, you're more in your masculine energy. Feminine energy is just like, walking in the moonlight and sharing your feelings. And I feel like these videos are feminine energy. The videos that men make tend to be more intellectual based, and men tend to want to be more like in the sciences and writing the books. The books are always usually more intellectual, more thought-based, more mental, whereas for women it tends to be more feeling-based, I want to say. Like my videos are completely feeling-based. I feel like that's all feminine energy. I don't want to think about it. I'm not showing you guys a bunch of charts or giving you statistics. That's what the guys like to do. And so I don't want to do that. I'm more like in the feeling place, kind of communicating the same stuff, but from a feeling level. So anyway, I've just been like really enjoying lately just seeing different men, noticing their energy, just enjoying their energy. Men who aren't clients, I'm talking about, that I just see in real life. And just being around them and enjoying their energy without needing anything to happen at all. Like, I don't even want anything to happen. Sometimes I kind of fantasize about one or the other one, in my private moments. But I don't need anything to happen. And that's like a really good place to be because, God, if you read my book, you'll know how many times I was heartbroken over guys. Like sad and heartbroken. And, they were giving me physical affection that I didn't have in my marriage. I was just very depleted, I would say, in that area. And didn't understand that men could provide physical affection just in the moment and just blow me off. And I was trying to figure out how to be okay with it, and I was hurt over it. And that's where I made a boundary now. I have a boundary with men that if you want to be with me intimately, you can be a client or you can be a boyfriend. That's why I stopped hooking up, because it just it doesn't work for me. And I didn't know that I needed to have a boundary around that. I thought I should be able to fuck just like men do. And I didn't know that men would blow me off. That seems to be like a thing that's a big thing now. Like women giving guys sex and men just thinking it's so, that women are like they are. They think we can just have sex with them and they can just leave us. And a lot of women seem okay with that. But that's not really in our nature. Are you, like, women watching this, if you hook up with guys because they expect you to have sex right away and you have a problem with that, I'm here to tell you that I stand with you. I have a problem with that too. I don't think that we should have sex with them right away. Men have always had to work for our attention. They've had to, in the past, they had to face rejection. They had to take us on dates. They had to be in a relationship with us. Usually a lot of women had sex before marriage, but they would usually do it with the guy they were in a relationship with. And then if the woman got pregnant, they would get married. Like, even my ex-husband's grandmother was pregnant when she got married. And this was probably was it in the 30s or 40s, I want to say? It was during the Depression or right before. I know she lived through the Depression. They were farmers. Actually, they became quite well to. Some of these farmers were super freaking rich, you guys, millionaires. But back then they were in the Depression. They were broke. So people were having sex before marriage, but they weren't having it with random hookups. They were having it with people that they would, and then they would get married. I remember her saying that she had dreams of going to Hollywood and being a singer, and because she got pregnant at 17 and got married, she could never do that, So women don't idealize that time, because women were, they didn't have birth control, and there weren't abortions. They weren't legal for a long time. And so, women ended up having to get married and have children long before they really wanted to, so feminism has been a good thing. But nowadays, women are just having sex right away. And then guys, I'll tell you what, if we had sex with guys right away and they would date us, that would be no problem at all. We could date them and then we could see if we got along, but that's not what men do. They fuck us and then they're the hell out of here. It's called rail and bail, hump and dump, pump and dump, whatever the acronyms are, because that's what they're doing. They're just using us as an ejaculation device. They don't know us. They just see a pretty body. They don't know us at all. There's no bonding that has happened. I think you should wait for the guy to bond with you a little bit. See if he actually likes you before you have sex with him. It's good for men to work for that. I think a man should work for you at least as much as he worked for his muscles. Check these out. I think he should work for you at least as hard as he had to work for his mortgage application or his car loan or his employment application. I think he should have to work for you at least as much as he has to work for his job. Because a woman's sex is worth $500 an hour. And I'm talking from experience. So $500, a lot of guys make that in a week. They got to work 40 hours. But he doesn't have to work for you. Think again. And that's how women are competing for men. Or they think they should, or they think they want to. But the thing is, you got to play it ahead. The reason you don't eat a donut, well, they're gross, but you got to play it ahead, because the guys, the problem is you can have sex with this guy and then he will blow you off. Are you going to be okay with that? Because that's what they can do. So that's, to me, as a boundary I'm not willing to cross anymore. Also, make sure you use a condom every time. This is what you should do, ladies. A little tip. Make a list right now before you meet a guy of all your boundaries, around this guy, around sex, using a condom, how much you want him to invest in you. This is not about how many dates, but how much energy and attention, resources he's invested in you before you have sex with him. And guys, make a list of how many resources you're going to invest in a woman without getting anything in return, because a woman ought to give you affection, interest, and responsiveness and appreciation for everything you do. Like, if you take her out, she ought to be like, oh my God, this is the best date. I'm having such a good time with you. She should be happy, have something going on. And what I want to say about this relationship grid, which I made a video on already before, is that you want to make sure that you are in the center of that relationship grid, that you don't violate your own boundaries. So, I had this really hot, this guy trains with the Marine Mariners, I think they're called. Like, they're almost like Navy SEALs. They don't even report to the Marine Corps. They report directly to the Pentagon. Is it the Pentagon? This guy was so nice, and he was so sexy, and but I used a condom with him every time. I hooked up with him a few times, and that guy, I was so upset when, like, he waited days to return my text. And he was honest with me. He didn't want a relationship or anything, but after that, I'm like, I'm not going to hook up anymore. I'm not going to do it. But I used a condom with him, and I was like, okay, Sharzad, you made a rule for yourself. A condom unless you're in a committed relationship. Always use a condom. And I didn't deviate from that. I did not deviate from that. In fact, I haven't had intercourse without a condom in probably 4 years, because they want our bare pussies. Those guys want our bare pussies because it's warm and it's wet and it's slippery. Some guys jerking off to this right now. I've had guys email me like, I listen to your videos and I masturbate to them. I'm like, you guys are, I love guys. They get turned on at everything. They get turned on just watching this freaking video. I could probably hold up a book and the guy will masturbate to it. I could probably do this and the guy will masturbate to it, That's how they are. But in order to get access to us physically, they got to invest. Ladies, make them work for it. And, like, thinking you're doing them a favor is not doing them a favor, because a real man is going to enjoy working for it. And the only way you're going to know that is if you ever have sex with women or date women. Because, when I see a pretty woman and I get in like my man mode, like I'm thinking like a man, and I see a pretty woman and I'm like, I want to do things for her. I want to take her in interesting places. I want to make her smile. I want to make her happy. And a man in his masculine energy wants to do that. So a guy who doesn't want to do that is in his feminine energy. He just wants to lay back, slide into your DMs, be on an online dating app. He's afraid of rejection. He just wants to be serviced, or he just wants to come over and fuck you without even paying you. He should at least pay your rent or something. He should give you something of value, because, ladies, our bodies in exchange for their money is basically how society has always worked. Our sexuality because we're not sexually like men. And being with a woman, I was with a woman recently in the last week, and it was an amazing experience because it reminded me again about the gentleness of women, the beauty of women, the bodies of women, um, and the privilege of being with a woman, which you guys forget. If you're only having sex with men, you forget. Try getting a woman. This is what I'm going to challenge you, ladies. Try getting sex with a woman. It's going to be hard to get sex with a woman. Why? Because women are choosy and selective. I challenge any of you women to try to get a woman into bed. It's hard. They're not down to fuck like the men are. And once you do, and you see how gentle her touch is, how gently she touches you in your privates, and she kisses you, and she's softer in her hair and everything, it's like being with a guy is great. I love it. I love it. But being with a woman is like magical. Now, I'm not gay. I'm not even really too bisexual, but it's for me, it's like a magical experience being with a woman. And you ladies don't know how magical you are, but when I think about like some of my girlfriends and doing stuff with them, um, I can be in a friend mode, but I can also get in that mode of I want to plan something that's a little different, I want to make it easy for her. There's a little bit of that different energy that comes in. And you want to look for guys who have that energy. A healthy man wants to do that. A healthy man wants the challenge. He likes lifting weights. Because if you're just giving him pussy for nothing, it's like you going to school and they're giving you an A without you even taking the course. How good does that feel? You know, and a man, when he does things for you, it builds his strength, it builds his energy. That's how they get to be these wonderful men with glowing eyes, because of the things they've done for their women and the children and their pets and their employees. It builds a man to do things for us. You've got to let them. And a guy who doesn't want to is, I'm going to say, in this part of the grid, resigned. He's in his feminine energy. You got to weed those guys out. I would not associate with those guys anymore. And I'm here to remind us that we need to let them be men. So don't fuck guys for free anymore, ladies. I don't care how horny you are and how much you like him, because it's usually one-sided. You like him, so you're fucking him, and meanwhile, to him, you're just a piece of ass. Because that's how men do it. They're not like women. Every woman I've ever had sex with, she wants my number, she wants to be friends, now we're having dinner, but the guys I've had sex with, they're like, see you later. That's just how they are. They're not being mean, that's just how they can do it. To them, their sexuality is not important. It's just a hobby. To them, what's important is their resources, their time, and their emotions. So our bodies in exchange for their resources, time, and emotions is the way to do it. Because their dick is worth nothing. You can get dick for free. In fact, they'll pay you. Men pay for sex. The reason women don't pay for sex is because dick isn't worth paying for. What's worth having from a man that is worthy is a good man. A good man that is physically, mentally, emotionally healthy, that's investing his resources into you, his time, his emotions, his presence, and his money. Otherwise, if all he wants to invest in you is his cock, he's not investing, he's plundering. I think I'm really he's plundering you. I should call this video, Are You Being Plundered? But just to get back to the main point of my video, was that these men that are really well developed, they're out there. They're rare and they're out there, and any man can be that kind of man and be very attractive to a woman, a healthy woman. A toxic woman is going to go for an abusive man, a grandiose man. By the way, women can be grandiose too. But enough of my video. This is a shout out to all the wonderful men who are, well developed and on their purpose and in their hearts strong. And they're out there. And ladies, they're the only ones worth fucking for free. If they are out there and they're dating you, you have my blessings. Otherwise, I think we should keep our legs crossed. Okay, thanks for watching my video, you guys.